Întotdeauna, la final de misiune, străinii vorbesc mult mai relaxat despre ce au făcut aici și despre cum ne văd în realitate. Și mai există un numitor comun al acestor interviuri. În ciuda numeroaselor probleme pe care le descoperă aici, românii le rămân la suflet și de aceea spun că nu-și pot lua rămas bun pentru totdeauna. Lara Tassan Zanin a fost șefa biroului de la București a Băncii Europene pentru Investiții și a încheiat mandatul, dar a vrut să ne transmită o dorință. Ar vrea ca statul român să investească mai mult în oameni. Sunt Cristina Cileacu. Începe Pașaport diplomatic. Lara Tassan Zanin, Head of European Investment Bank Romanian office, you are ending your mission and still present for the last time in the diplomatic passport, so welcome.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Bucharest office is among the biggest in Europe of the European Investment Bank, and during your mandate of 5 years here, European Investment Bank get involved quite a lot in Romanian developing. What areas were of interest for European Investment Bank, or shall I ask what areas Romania asked for help from the European Investment Bank?
Indeed, the European Investment Bank group remains demand-driven, so we look into projects that either the public sector or the private sector presents to us. But it's also true that we are driven by public policy goals rather than profit, so we have our own eligibility, our own policy objectives, and we have to see the match between the demand of investment that we receive and what is eligible and aligned with our policies. Having said that, these policies change over time compared to 30 years ago when we started operations in Romania. We just celebrated 30 years of presence in the country. What has changed in the last 5 years? I think a lot has changed on what we as European Investment Bank Group do in this country. Initially and traditionally we have been present in the transport sector, in the urban regeneration, in the SME support. And more recently, in my 5 years, we diversified quite importantly towards higher education. We lent around 150 million euro to Romanian universities, and to the health sector we approved and signed 1.2 billion euro to upgrade and realize new state hospitals in Romania. It's 30 years that not a new state-owned hospital is being built in Romania, so we are very proud of this result. Diversification towards health and education is essential in Romania, I believe, because one of the biggest problems that we see to attract further investments is the diaspora issue, the fact that the Romanians tend to leave this country, and we understood that it's not so much about having a higher salary, but it's about having the opportunities to offer to their kids better health and educational offering, and that is why we are very proud as European Investment Bank, the EU bank, to be able to have given a big support to these two sectors. They are not coming without hurdles and difficulties. We are advising, because you said one of the largest office of all, it is true. It is made of advisors, of experts, not rather than bankers. Why? Because we advise the Romanian authorities to prepare and implement projects. And in the health sector, for example, to reach 1.2 million euro of lending, we are advising the Ministry of Health and now AMDIS, the newly established agency for key health infrastructure, since 2017. It's a long process to build capacity, to let the authorities understand what a good project is, what a bankable project is, and how you can implement it. Similarly, the universities, before 2018, they were not allowed in Romania, differently from other EU countries, to borrow money from banks or from IFAs like us. It was possible thanks to some champions. I think that in Romania, if we want to change the nu se poate approach, we need champions, and we met on our street some champions that allowed the Romanian university to have a law in the parliament to pass it for them to borrow money. And now we are supporting 7 Romanian universities to have best of technology labs, to have better campuses for students, and to pay researchers. This is important to retain talent and to allow the skilled labor force of Romania to be better matching the demand of the market, and notably the green jobs, for example. We are very proud of this achievement and this diversification. A second element I think that we saw, it's about the focus that moved from transport to energy in terms of advisory. I think the energy is the new transport, meaning that for 10 plus years we have massively supported the transport sector to improve capacity. And last year Romania had the record EU absorption in the transport sector, and I think people can see work sites all over Romania and all over Bucharest. So there has been a huge progress, concrete progress on works being tendered, being started, and the payments being done. Now the challenge is the energy, the modernization fund, the PNRR. I'm very aware that the private sector is waiting for more funds to come, and that the Ministry of Energy is resource constrained on this. They have to build the capacity. I want to have here a word of realism, in the sense that we are there to help. We started helping them last year only. It will take some time before we reach a certain capacity that will allow Romania to spend efficiently these funds in the energy sector. It will not happen overnight, like it didn't happen overnight for transport, but we are confident that if we stay engaged, we are going to reach a similar result. Maybe not in 10 years, I hope in much less time. And this is where the space that we are watching now as one of the sectors where we are, I would say, concentrating our support to unlock funds for the public sector, but most importantly for the private sector.
Well, you mentioned energy, but at the level of the world, considering the fact that we have an ongoing war in Europe, one other key issue sector is agriculture.
Indeed.
So the new saying is that a country that is rich in both having a good agriculture and having a lot of sources of energy is a rich country. So this is the new rich, I can call it like this. What about agriculture? Because Romania has a lot of land, has a lot of opportunities, but we don't seem to get there yet.
Indeed, I think I am often asked which are the, I would say, the potential, the biggest potential sectors for Romania's development, and for me agriculture is always on the top 3. Why I think so? It's land availability, is raw material production. It's, I would say today there is a lot of potential in the agribusiness for the bioproducts. Romania is already bio, right? So there is a huge potential there to be seized. Now, what is not yet there, it's a key priority in the, I would say, government vision for this sector. There is a bit of tendency to rely on the private sector to foster certain investments. This was a bit the case of the ICT, another main driver for the future of Romanian potential. But we believe that in agriculture this is not possible. There is a certain limit to what the private sector can drive in the agriculture. What is needed first is a sort of primary infrastructure, like for example irrigation facility, that the public sector has to do before the private sector can really, let's say, put extra wind in the sails of this sector. So there is a need for a vision, there is a need for a clear decision at government level that agriculture is a key priority sector for Romania going forward, and an engagement to deliver primary infrastructure. Only in that sense the private sector can do their bit. And the last probably segment that I would see as needed to unlock the full potential is some legislative framework around cooperatives, around the fact that farmers, which are notably small and quite, let me say, still not very equipped with modern equipment and so on and so forth, they need to be able to act in cooperatives and to bundle together to have a critical mass and come forward both in terms of EU funds absorption, but also of opportunities in the commercial banks. I always keep an eye on the banks in Romania. When I came here in 2018, they were rather, let me say, conservative and on a wait-and-see mode. Now the situation has changed. They are extremely active under the ESG move, the pressure from the groups to target environmental, social and governance targets and objectives. And in that sense, particularly on the environmental, they are more open than ever to invest in green projects, agriculture being a big important driver in this. So they're more open than ever to support this sector, to assess investments in this sector. But of course the counterparts have to be bankable, have to be sizable, have to be, I would say, bank literate, financing literate, and we are not yet there. Also because they need some legislative framework that will incentivize this type of, let me say, aggregation, because currently we have too high granularity for matching the financing and the funds with the investment needs and potential on the ground.
I do this program we are filming now for the last 12 years almost, and most of the times I'm hearing from my guests that Romania has a lot of potential. I know we have a lot of potential. I don't understand still, and I'm trying still to find an answer. How come we don't reach that potential in so many areas? You said you are in love with Romania and you will miss Romania because you are leaving us. How do you see this issue?
Thank you for the question. I think that it's important when we talk about the potential and when we talk about challenging contexts to appreciate the marginal improvements. Of course, it's a question of political stability and political vision for a country to go from potential to reality. It's a matter of transport infrastructure. When you need to produce goods and transport them to the EU market and beyond. It's a matter of availability of skilled labor force and labor force in general to give comfort to investors that they will, if they invest, they will find suitable people to hire and to run their businesses. This, I would say, the fact that we didn't enjoy a lot of political stability in Romania for quite a long time, that we didn't see a big progress in the transport infrastructure implementation in particular, and that we don't have human capital investment still as an important priority to retain skills and talents. I would say that these are the three, in my opinion, three keys to understand why the potential the transformation of potential into reality was not the one that we wanted to see. Having said that, as I had the opportunity to mention earlier on, in my 5 years here, we saw some political stability in the last 2 years, and we saw results. We have seen Romania having an increasing gravitas in Brussels, globally. The military aggression to Ukraine, for how terrible it was, somehow has put Romania back in the center of the map. And I think Romania somehow managed to seize well this opportunity. I usually say that I have seen some transformational results in Romania, also in terms of EU funding. The PNR was a plan, huge plan that Romania was able to put together and present and got approved much earlier than many other countries. Now we have to implement. Challenging, yes, but we have also to cherish these positive, let me say, intermediate steps between potential and reality. So we benefited from this stability, and we saw some transformational results in the way the public administration of Romania follows up on commitments to Brussels. We also saw transport infrastructure now finally in the implementation phase with a lot of absorption. The human capital investments is probably where I would like to see the next focus of attention, and I think this is key. to unlock this potential. But it's important to cherish these marginal improvements, and what I particularly liked in also, for example, in the last year, as another positive consequence for Romania out of the terrible military aggression to Ukraine, is the appetite for sustainability investments, for green investment, for energy efficiency investment. I mean, someone told me that Romania changes only out of external pressure. I would have liked to have understood this earlier in my mandate.
You're not the only one, yes.
Because I would say that this is unbelievably true. Yet, although it requires external pressures, it's extremely agile in answering and meeting this external pressure, and we saw it last year, a lot of attention and demand to us on energy efficiency investments, both from the public sector and the private sector. So an energy a little bit more expensive, although we don't want to see these prices remain, but we'd rather expect them to lower, not to the initial level that Romania enjoyed. I think it will help Romania to gain in efficiency and productivity. Because this is what we need going forward if we want to have the Romanian economy remaining competitive and even growing as relevance and competitiveness in the EU market and beyond in the next years.
You said that to have a vision is one thing and to make it reality is a completely different thing. I agree with that. Do you feel like right now, even with this development under external pressure, that we respond well? As you said, Romania has a vision. Does Romania understand its role in Europe at least, not in the world?
It's a difficult question, but one that I'm happy to try to reply. I would go back to my marginal steps of improvement. I would say that there is more appetite for a vision today than 5 years ago. There is more interest and priority in the decision makers to have Romania in the EU map. And particularly, for example, I never had so many talks about reindustrialization of Romania like I had in the last, let me say, 12 months. There is a clear priority in Brussels and Strasbourg to reindustrialize Europe,
yes,
to reduce dependence on products that are produced elsewhere, notably in China or in other global sites. And I think Romania was there to seize this opportunity and say, okay, Romania is open for business. Romania wants to be part of this Made in Europe. I have initiative. I have received many requests, or many, let's say, yes, proposals to look into, for example, battery production in Romania, but also green bitumen production. I mean, there is a clear interest in bringing back capacity production in Romania in the green space, and to have the EU market as the target for this production. I would say that certainly this is a narrative in the decision maker, a narrative that of course needs still some time to mature, to go from these ideas into concrete bankable projects. It's not easy to build sales channels from scratch. It's not easy to be competitive price-wise with China or other markets. So I don't want to say that the way is short, the way is rather long and bumpy, but certainly there is an attention to this, to both reindustrialize Romania, but also there is a clear understanding that this cannot happen if other countries are not ready to buy in what will be produced in Romania in the years to come.
Lara, we said that your mandate as European Investment Bank head of office Bucharest is ending, and I have to ask, like every time I do a farewell interview, what you didn't manage to solve while you were here?
I would say that probably if I look backwards, I mean, still I need a lot of activity to gain a little bit of progress in what we need to receive from our counterparts. So probably I think that the second thing I would like to see in Romania after political stability is empowerment. From the leadership down to the public administration. I mean, there is, exactly because stability wasn't there, it's very difficult to have decisions being taken at the ministry level, at the director of DG levels. And I think Romania, with a lot on its plate, today they need more empowerment of the structures, because contrarily to what I have been told, I think there is capacity in the public administration in Romania. In the private sector, it's clear. There is commitment, but of course they need to be empowered. And I would say that this is probably the bit that I didn't manage to witness with my eyes. Now, what I would like to see is going from the talking to the walking. So this is another thing that why it is so difficult to leave Romania, is because I feel that I have seen some important positive trend, and I'm going to miss a quantum leap soon.
Yes. Well, we wait you in Romania again, so let's not say goodbye, let's just say see you soon. Thank you so much.
Very much. It was an honor to be supporting Romania, and thank you very much.
Atât pentru astăzi, dar rămânem în continuare online pe pagina de Facebook a emisiunii și pe contul nostru de Twitter. Revenim cu subiecte noi din lumea diplomației și a politicii externe, vinerea viitoare de la 11:30 și reluare sâmbăta după miezul nopții. La revedere!